We're back right now, and we got the man himself, number 55 in your program, number 1 in your heart, the Cincinnati Bengals, Logan Wilson. The 2020 draft, Logan Wilson was the 65th pick in the draft by the Cincinnati Bengals. They rolled the dice, and they were hoping that Logan Wilson would be there. They weren't quite sure, but they were hopeful. And this guy, as he produced, 163 tackles in those 3 seasons, 4th most in the NFL for an off the line of scrimmage linebacker. Leads those linebackers with 5 interceptions, most of any off the line of scrimmage linebacker, and 4.5 sacks, 3rd most for the linebackers in that position. So top 4 in every significant category. You've done a great job for the Cincinnati Bengals at the linebacker position. First of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you carving time. Your time's valuable to give us some. It's greatly appreciated. What do you think about the Bengals' first selection? Myles Murphy being added to the repertoire you guys will have for Lou Anarumo up front as an edge rush guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be great, just to see what Lou's going to cook up with them. It's just going to add to our, repertoire of pass rush talent that we have with those guys. And, I saw Coach Taylor's interview, saying that they weren't expecting him to be that far down the line. And so it seems like a good pick.
Absolutely. Now, Logan, you've been through it. You were drafted, right? Describe what that's like.
It's honestly, it's hard to describe because it's like this just impatient waiting game that you kind of have to go through, because you might have an idea of a team that might like you, but at the end of the day, you don't know when or if they're going to pick you. And sometimes a lot of the stuff that teams tell you is not always, true.
Yeah,
so
sure.
They could say they're going to pick you in this round, and it's just not going to happen like that. So it's just like an impatient waiting game that you got to wait for your time.
So you're a 3-down guy in today's NFL. That's pretty rare. But your experience in high school, you played defensive back. In college, at the collegiate level, initially you were a defensive back. So seeing route combinations, reading the quarterback, doing all those kind of things. When you transition from the back end to the middle of the football field, how valuable was that experience for you?
I mean, for me, it was huge. Just being able to really kind of develop those defensive back skills too. And then when I got to Wyoming, it was really about just maintaining my speed and change of direction, all that stuff, while putting on size. And I was, able to do that with the resources that we had at the University of Wyoming.
Now, Logan, what would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned? You're a couple of years in the NFL right now. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned since coming into the league?
Oh, man, I think it's probably the biggest part of the business aspect of it. It's just the way the league works. They're going to draft guys to replace you. You just got to keep the same work ethic that I've had my whole entire life, that I'm just not going to be outworked. And, it's suited me well so far.
Right.
So a rookie that's been drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals at this point, what's your piece of advice? What's the biggest piece of advice that you can give a rookie as he embarks on meeting the veteran players, going through initial OTAs? What's your advice?
I would say the biggest thing is to soak up all the information, find a good vet that knows what he's doing and has been doing it for a long time, and soak up as much information as you can from him. Like for Myles Murphy specifically, Sam Hubbard's a great example of that. He was a guy that I looked up to when I was first drafted here, and he kind of took me under his wing. And then obviously Josh Bynes, just being able to learn from those guys specifically how to do things not only on the field but off the field, taking care of your body, because if you're not healthy enough, you can't perform on Sundays.
Now I got to ask you, Logan, what do you think makes your linebacker room so special? Your defense as a whole so special?
Yeah, I think I feel like I always say this. I feel like I'm repetitive, but we just have unselfish guys, really, that just want to do their job. They're not trying to do too much that's going to, make guys make mistakes, and then guys trying to fill for their mistakes. It's just everyone trying to do their job the best of their ability. And we have a great defensive coordinator that puts us in position to be successful.
Lou Anarumo is very multiple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a challenge to you mentally, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing about this football team and the defensive side of the football, and the football team in its entirety. The team really does a good job of evaluating a player's ability to handle the mental aspect of it as well, with the high football IQ.
Right.
That's one thing that's impressed me about this football team as a whole. Not only really good players physically, but have an aptitude, a real high football IQ.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to play. I mean, quite literally everywhere, right? Like I played on the line. We got packages on third down where guys are dropping that we got all the guys up. You have no idea who's dropping. We got, there's so many different things that allows Lou to cook up when you have guys that can be able to play all those different positions.
Absolutely. So I guess I got to ask you, do you have any like goals, coming into this next season that you're looking forward to?
I've always been very team goal oriented,
Right.
because in my opinion, like those individual goals will kind of take care of themselves
Right.
as long as your team's successful. With team success comes individual success.
Right.
And if I have a couple, individual goals, I just always try to get better, each and every day. But there's some specific stuff that I kind of just keep to myself.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I'm just a very team first guy, and I want to do everything we can to win a Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Another thing this defensive football team has, and again, the football team as a whole, team speed is well above average.
Yeah.
And now that Lamar Jackson has re-signed with the Baltimore Ravens, you're playing him twice a year. The configuration with the 5-down linemen and you playing the spy and different things that go on. I mean, Lou Anarumo was at his best as the Grand Master when you guys of the chess match when you guys are playing the Baltimore Ravens. Your overall team speed. Miles Murphy adds to that. Here's a guy 270 plus pounds that runs in the 4.5s.
Yeah.
I mean, tremendous straight line speed, short speed, quickness, and agility. How valuable is being able to run as a defensive unit?
Well, it's that, and then it's playing with high effort too. So we got guys that are fast, but then they play with high effort, so they're always running to the ball, and that helps erase when mistakes happen. We got guys flying to the ball. Some guy misses a tackle, but there's another guy there to make the stop. Versus that breaking into a 30-yard gain, and you make it 10 yards. It just those little plays throughout the course of a game can change it. So that's why we pride ourselves on playing with a very high effort.
Absolutely. Now, Logan, I got to ask you, man. We're here in Cincinnati at the First Star Logistics annual Bengals draft party. What do you think is so special? You look out into the crowd. What do you think is so special about the Bengals fan base and how they come out and support? They support in droves. I mean, they travel, travel like crazy. What do you think is so special about Cincinnati?
I mean, it's been unbelievable, since I've been here, just seeing the growth that we've had.
Right.
Obviously, winning helps with that. But even my rookie year during COVID, you couldn't really have anyone here. So just to, I've been really enjoying these times that we have with all these fans selling out season tickets. I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot better than that, honestly. And so we're going to keep trying to put out those victories, on Sundays. And we really enjoy the fans, and they're huge for us, especially on defense, in our home stadium. It really affects the opposing team.
You've got number 9 at quarterback, a guy named Joe Burrow. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's decent.
He's all right. He can play. I'd take him. But we talked about it earlier. The AFC, with Aaron Rodgers leaving the NFC and coming to the New York Jets, there are 9 quarterbacks, out of the 16 teams in the AFC that are all very capable of making a Pro Bowl. If they play to the level that they've shown in the past. Man, when you look at the in this era of football, it's a quarterback, driven situation. Do you like that kind of challenge? Do you like to raise the bar, have the bar raised every single week where you're trying to exceed?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough regardless, in our conference to play. I think that at the end of the day, it's really about controlling what we can. Obviously there's going to be a lot of good teams out there on our side of the conference, but if we can control what we can, our motto inside the facility is always it's about us. And we really take that to heart, and Coach Taylor preaches it all the time, and so guys kind of live by that.
Absolutely. I remember when your buddy Chad was coming out of the draft, I had a conversation about you to him. And he said to me, his exact words was, "That guy's a beast." He said his mentality is different. So what would you credit your mentality to, man? Because he raved about you. He lit up.
Yeah, I think it's probably for just how I was raised with both my parents. My dad specifically was always like, no matter what accomplishment I got, if it was in academics or if it was in sports, it didn't matter. It was always like his motto was always work hard and stay humble.
Right.
Because that's just kind of how I've lived my entire life, but that way. It didn't matter what I did or what I'd done in the past. It was all about moving forward and trying to get better, both in school and in whatever sport I was playing in at the time. And I think that never settled mindset, is a big credit as to why I have had the success that I've had in my career so far.
from high school to college, you've transitioned successfully. College to the NFL, you've transitioned successfully. But is there a moment, is there a guy, is there a situation or an instance where it was the aha moment? Ooh, welcome to the NFL. These guys definitely are good. These guys are big, man. These guys are powerful. This is a special scenario.
Yeah, I don't know if I had a specific moment that I remember. I just think the whole season in general, you're like, it's something new every game that you're kind of dealing with. And I think, probably going against the offensive linemen in this league, realizing how fast they are for how big they are. And when they're coming up to you, they're not trying to be your friend. So
Right.
it definitely took some getting used to. And I know in college, I had a moment where it was during like a scrimmage. I got cut and just fell right flat on my face and was like, okay, I'm never letting this happen again. You got to learn from it and move on. And that's just the mindset you have to have.
And I guess another question I have for you. You've been in the league for a couple of years. What has been your favorite moment so far?
Probably the AFC championship year. I mean, obviously we came short in the Super Bowl, but having this surreal opportunity of playing in the Super Bowl is like, you think about how many guys have played in this league have never even played in a playoff game, let alone had the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. It was an unbelievable experience, especially with how many people were writing us off to begin that season. We just came off a 4-12 year, and our backs were against the walls, and we didn't care. And that was just our mindset that we had that year. So it was an unbelievable year.
Lou Anarumo's base defense is a 2 linebacker scenario inside, and Jermaine Pratt, your running mate, who you guys are, in my mind, as good a duo as there is in the National Football League, bar none. I don't care who you're talking about. Throw out any names you want. I'll take Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt against anybody. He just signed a new contract, 3-year contract. Orlando Brown and Jermaine Pratt, the only free agent contracts that are more than 1 year, so they value Jermaine Pratt, obviously.
Yeah.
What does he mean to you as a teammate? And can you give us a little inside scoop into how negotiations go with Logan Wilson? Because you gotta get 55 in the books, man. Got to get him signed.
We're hopefully in the works with that, but
You're in the works?
We'll see. I don't know. It just depends. It depends how the dominoes fall,
Yeah.
So obviously I would like to be here. So just know that.
So what's it like playing with a guy like that?
Jermaine, he's very smart. The guy studies film like none other, and sometimes he just knows what they're running before they even call it out. And so it's always good to play with a guy like that. I think we both help each other. We both feed off each other. There's certain things that I might see during the course of the week on film that he might not have missed, or he watches a ton of film. He's a leader in the locker room. Guys look up to him, and we're really happy to have him back.
So, Logan, we have a thing that we do here at First Star Logistics, or we have any guest that we have come and sign a helmet.
Yeah.
I would love for you to take this Sharpie and put your signature there.
It'd be my pleasure. On the
white
one?
helmet, I don't blame you,
The
man.
white
These
helmet,
are
Might as
sharp,
well.
aren't they?
They're awesome.
These things are unbelievable. Logan Wilson.
There we go. His signature is much better than mine's.
Yeah, really.
I've had to perfect this thing over the years.
And we appreciate you definitely doing that.
Yeah.
We appreciate you definitely doing that.
So we're going to say our goodbyes to Logan Wilson. Again, appreciate you coming out and
Pleasure,
joining
man.
us
Thank
on our
you.
first annual
Pleasure.
First Star Logistics draft party here.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.